Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a great week. My name is Drew, the host of Never Behind. Now early this month, the majority of investors were keeping an eye on the Bitcoin ETF approvals, and the expectation and optimism for the approval of the ETFs were already priced in, causing Bitcoin price to more than double in 2023. However, after the SEC approved the spot ETFs, there has been a huge pullback in the crypto space, and all the crypto-related stocks are taking a deep dive regarding the stock price. So within a week or so, everyone that was so positive and optimistic about Bitcoin and the crypto space is now getting worried and even saying that Bitcoin is a scam and will eventually not survive in the future. I'm also seeing investors around me that are getting upset and angry about investing in the stocks related with Bitcoin when they were at their highs. Now, is the Bitcoin story over, and was the Bitcoin ETF approval all just a hype? Or is Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies here to stay in the future? I guess no one has the exact answer and time will only tell, but today I have two experts that have a price target for Bitcoin in the next 12 months and also by 2030 that may surprise you. So with that, let's see what these experts have to say about Bitcoin and what they predict the price of Bitcoin to be in the upcoming years. Now, before getting into the interview, I just wanted to share that Moomoo is having a great promotion, giving out 15 free stocks and also giving out a total of 8.1% annual interest rates for the first 3 months on your cash portion as you open an account, and then from month 4 giving out 5.1%, which is better than most of the saving accounts out there. So if you are interested in receiving the 15 free stocks and receiving an annual rate of 8.1% on your cash portion for the first 3 months and then 5.1% for the remaining time, make sure you click the link in the description below. So the two investors that we will be hearing from today is Tom Lee and Cathie Wood. They are both very well-known bulls on Bitcoin and the crypto space in general, and definitely thinks cryptocurrencies are here to stay in the future. So let's start with Tom Lee and see what he has to say.
Let's talk about Bitcoin. Tom Lee, we got the approval of the spot Bitcoin ETFs this week. Big up day on the first day, down today. I think for the week, about even. Is this ETF party that's now begun going to significantly change the way Bitcoin trades from here?
To me, I think it's going to make a huge difference because instead of having to go to an exchange and then worry about your private keys, many investors can now use traditional financial markets to access Bitcoin. There's $150 trillion of household net worth just in the US. I mean, allocating just 1% into crypto would be $1.5 trillion of inflows. I mean, that's already more than Bitcoin's network value. So I think there's tremendous potential, and I think it's a really important diversification for a lot of folks that have exposure to US dollar assets, equities, or bonds. And Bitcoin is really a good hedge against a lot of monetary risks.
Your 1 year and 5 year price target for Bitcoin?
I think in the next 12 months, something over 100,000, maybe 150,000. And, in the next 5 years, again, there's a finite supply. And now we have a potentially huge increase in demand with a spot Bitcoin approval. So I think in 5 years, something around 500,000 would be potentially achievable.
I think Tom has a great point that the ETFs will give investors much more confidence in investing in Bitcoin without having to worry about the security of their private keys. Now, having been in the crypto space starting from 2017, one of the major issues that I have encountered from many crypto investors are that many actually do not keep their private keys safe or forget the combination phrase or words, and therefore was not able to access their crypto assets. So in other words, if you lose your private key, unlike a traditional bank where you could just call customer service and reset your password, for Bitcoin wallets, even if you have $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, once you lose your private key, you lose that entire billion worth of Bitcoin right away. So with the spot ETFs being approved, investors will no longer have to worry about losing their private keys and losing their entire crypto assets, which will definitely increase the access and demands to invest in Bitcoin. Now, the second great point that Tom made was that Bitcoin can be a great asset for diversification. Now, many investors not only invest in stocks, but also invest in bonds, gold, and real estate as well. And there is a huge pool of investors that would like to diversify their portfolios into Bitcoin as well. So now, since we have the approval of the spot ETFs, diversification will be much more easier than compared to having to buy an actual Bitcoin from the exchange and keeping it in a wallet. Now, regarding Tom's price target for Bitcoin, I really hope his predictions are correct, since I have have no plans on selling any of my Bitcoin or Ethereum until 2030 and would love to see Bitcoin go all the way up to 500K. But again, we will have to wait until 2030 to see how Bitcoin plays out. So with that, now let's hear what Cathie Wood has to say about Bitcoin and the crypto space as well.
We are not looking to maximize profit on this spot Bitcoin ETF. We are looking at Bitcoin as a public good. It is essentially, from a technology point of view, going to be the financial superhighway of the internet. This blockchain, Bitcoin blockchain technology is what the developers did not build into the internet in the early days, in the early 90s. Why? Because no one ever dreamed that commerce or financial services would take place on this network. Now, finally, we're going to have a native currency in the internet, and it will take out a lot of middlemen because it is a peer-to-peer network. So we want to give investors as much access and exposure to Bitcoin. We don't want fees to get in the way. And of course, ETFs are extremely accessible. Already outstanding, there are, I think it's 19.6 million Bitcoin. There will never be any more than 21 million. 15 million of that 19.6 are in what we call strong hands. Their wallets have not moved Bitcoin in 155 days or more. That's 75% of the outstanding. So now we believe there's going to become, as institutions enter, real scarcity value. And each dollar moving in will have more of an outsized impact now than it did before we got the green light.
Okay, now let's talk pricing, or I shouldn't say pricing, but the price of Bitcoin. You and I have had conversations now over many years where you've talked about Bitcoin being worth something on the order of $500,000, literally in only a couple of years from now. Do you stand by that? How does this ETF change that, speed that up, slow it down? What do you think?
Yes. So you'll find in our big ideas, so that's at arc-invest.com, the building blocks for our price forecast. And our base case is in the $600,000 range. Our bull case, and we think the probability of the bull case has increased with this SEC approval. This is a green light. Our bull case is $1.5 million by 2030. You can see the building blocks. You can see how conservative we are in terms of those building blocks. This is a big idea. It is the first global, decentralized, digital, rules-based, critical there, rules-based monetary system in history. It is a very big idea.
It was very interesting to hear from Cathie Wood that blockchain will be the financial superhighway of the internet, and that the reason why developers did not even think about blockchain in the first place is because no one ever imagined that we would have commerce and financial services on the internet as we do nowadays, which I think is true. Now, the other major point that I thought was a great insight is that out of the 21 million Bitcoins that will ever exist, there are already 19.6 million that have been mined and are out in the world, and over 75% of the 19.6 million are in strong hands, meaning 75% of the Bitcoin that have been mined might just be sitting in the wallets for the store of value. Therefore, when the hedge funds come in to buy Bitcoin, which would be a huge demand for Bitcoin, since 75% of the Bitcoin are in strong hands and only approximately 25% of the Bitcoins are tradable, we will have real scarcity value of Bitcoin as these institutions step in, and therefore Cathie is saying that the value of Bitcoin will go way higher from here regarding price. Now, Cathie Wood is famous for her aggressive predictions regarding prices, as you can see with what she predicted about Tesla's price back when it was under $15 regarding the splits, but she's predicting that the bear case for Bitcoin in 2030 would be 600K per coin, and in the bull case, 1.5 million per coin. And now with the SEC approvals of the spot ETFs, she is more on the bull case where she thinks Bitcoin can be worth 1.5 million per coin in 2030. Now again, I really hope that her predictions are correct, but I guess only time will tell, and that we will have to wait 6 more years to see what happens to Bitcoin. So with that, those were the insights on Bitcoin from Tom Lee and Cathie Wood, and hope it was helpful for your investments. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you on my next videos.